Recognizing the member for Chilliwack.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, we meet again. It's a pleasure to speak in front of you as always, and it is a real pleasure for me to speak to this bill. You know, no worker should have to choose between going to work sick or losing pay. It's an awful choice. And I'm really proud to speak to this bill because I was a worker. Now I'm an MLA. I guess I sort of do work, but I'm not part of the working class anymore. And my family is, and so I really appreciate this bill, and I had to take the opportunity to speak to it. I probably won't be that long. I'm sure you're happy with that, but I thought I'd speak to this bill. I was listening intently to the member before me's arguments there, and normally I love criticizing the BC Liberal Party, and that's usually my shtick, but I thought I would give somewhat of a critique to his arguments. I found it odd that at one point he complains that we have to amend an act twice. Heaven forbid we pass legislation in this House. And then in the second stroke, he complains that this bill also will require regulation to institute long-term pay. So I thought maybe he could make his mind up on that score. That was my main critique, other than I think he's right. I think the Premier should not go, you know, that's why we're on this side of the House and you're on that side of the House. I think the Premier should point out that a whole bunch of us sit on this side of the House too. We wrap around the place. Just like, you know, when he's talking about the approaches that different parties have taken, the positions that different parties have taken, and who British Columbians have chosen as their representatives and for the government. So when I used to you know, swing hammers and pull wrenches, Mr. Speaker, I did have a non-union job where I did not get sick pay, and it was definitely a choice of whether, you know, I could pay my mortgage that month or I could miss a week of work, and so I worked sick, and I make all my coworkers sick. This bill is going to help to alleviate that. It's also crucial that we're doing it during COVID so that workers aren't going to work with COVID. It's also, in many cases, these are frontline workers, essential service workers who don't get paid sick leave. So this is crucial for them as well. And I'm really happy about that. Now, last time I was in this House, and I you know, I made some comments about workers, and I kind of riled up the member from Kelowna Mission, and I feel bad about that because I'd like to, you know, be friends with everyone in here and be friendly, and she's a great speaker. But you know, I find it a little bit rich when other parties are coming in here, you know, wrapping themselves in the flag of the working class when, you know, the devastation they wrought on the working class. But I have a quote from the member from Kelowna Mission. She says, "I'm going to start with a story. The story is hopefully to allow the member for Chilliwack to understand how much the members on this side of the House actually understand workers." And she did. She made me realize how much this side of the House understands workers. And that's probably not good for this side of the House, in all honesty. She goes on to say, her daughter asked her what she does for a living, and she says, "In that moment, with tears in my eyes, I looked at her and I said, every day I go to work and I feed hundreds of families because I sign paychecks." Well, Mr. Speaker, they feed their families through their labor. And signing paychecks for workers is about the bare minimum you can do for workers. Essentially, you're paying your bills. congratulations. It just made me realize how this side of the House views workers. And as you know, paupers in workhouses, I guess, and that they're the benefactors for them, I don't understand it. There's also one other point. Maybe I have to one other issue I would have there. The member's the critic for health, and she, because I had mentioned the privatization of housekeeping staff, et cetera, in the health authorities, in the hospitals, and she mentioned it was such a great thing because they saved so much money, they were able to buy new equipment, et cetera. I mean, sure, instead of funding healthcare adequately, privatize contracts and do it off the backs of workers, in most cases racialized and women workers. I mean, bully for you. That doesn't seem like a very good thing to be proud of, in my opinion, Mr. Speaker. But I think this is a great bill, you know. I'm especially proud that we are creating a permanent system to begin on January 1st. And I'm very proud that we're going to do such extensive consultation with the community, with business leaders, with workers, to come up with a good system of a permanent paid sick leave. And I can't tell you how great this is. And you know, we'll consult with stakeholders to develop a model that's fair, reasonable, and works for everyone in BC. You know, I mean, I feel bad, sort of. I have another friend from the BC Liberals here, and I really enjoy her, and I feel sad that I'm doing this to you folks while I'm talking. Anyway, the BC Liberals also, during the years when they were in opposition, the minimum wage remained stagnant, including a decade-long freeze, and it resulted in our province having among the lowest minimum wages in Canada. And the approach that we take on this side of the House is we are increasing the minimum wage to $15.20 per hour on June 1st, and are getting rid of the lower minimum wage for servers. I think this is a great thing that the BC NDP is doing, and it shows the difference in approach we have. And it is, you know, why we're bringing this bill forward now. We have an approach where we care about workers and labor. And I don't have a heck of a lot more, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to speak a little bit, a short period of time, and I knew that I had to say something about this bill. So I would hope that my colleagues everywhere in this House support the bill and show that they care about workers. Thank you.